Lewis Hamilton's time at Ferrari has just been given a dramatic twist. A freshly leaked exit clause in his contract could make the F1 storyline beyond 2026 far more unpredictable than anyone anticipated. The seven-time world champion reportedly holds a unique option, entirely in his control, after the first year of the new regulations. But here's the question. How could this impact his quest for an eighth championship if Ferrari fails to produce a competitive machine in the new era? And even more importantly, would Hamilton actually consider leaving sooner than expected if the team's driver priorities don't align with his ambitions? When the biggest signing of the century, Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari, was announced, it set the sport ablaze. Sure, some tried to convince us this was a 2026 project, but we couldn't ignore the sheer drama of seeing Hamilton change environments for the first time since 2014. Yet, reality has been less than ideal. It's not simply that Ferrari isn't competitive, it's that they can't seem to pinpoint why their car is underperforming. Even with a new rear suspension, neither Hamilton nor Leclerc have felt any real improvement in the SF25, hinting that if things go wrong, Maranello's engineers might have no answers. That's a dangerous position to be in, especially with the 2026 regulation overhaul looming. Ferrari must get this right if they want to take the fight to Mercedes, McLaren, or even Aston Martin. You can imagine the disappointment for both Hamilton and Leclerc if things go south. And now, according to new reports, Hamilton's contract includes an escape route, an exit clause that allows him, and only him, to decide his future after the second year of his deal in 2025. La Gazzetta dello Sport claims this lucrative two-year contract didn't come without its costs. Ferrari chairman John Elkann is reportedly standing firmly behind Hamilton despite the challenges, but this clause gives Lewis the power to walk away with no resistance from Ferrari. And given how frustrated he could be if 2025 turns into another year of failed upgrades, it's entirely possible he won't stick around for 2027. The support from Elkann is significant. Italian media insist Ferrari has no other choice but to back the most successful driver in F1 history, not just for sporting reasons, but because of the massive commercial implications of his signing. They've invested huge sums, and they need him to rediscover his form. After the Hungarian Grand Prix, Hamilton was visibly crushed. Seeing his teammate take pole seemed to hit his confidence hard, leading him to make a rare, raw statement that he was useless and that Ferrari needs another driver. Of course, emotions can spill over in tough times, and sometimes those words don't reflect the full truth, but they're impossible for the F1 media to ignore. Ferrari is already pouring resources into their 2026 car, which reportedly looks promising. With Fred Vasseur getting an extension as team principal, the stage is set for either a Hamilton or Leclerc-led charge to the front. But here's where the politics come in, the exit clause. Reports say Ferrari is now developing the car more toward Hamilton's preferences. While both he and Leclerc like an understeery balance, Lewis prefers a little more rear load. If the car is built around Hamilton's style, Leclerc might need to adapt, a challenge but likely not an impossible one for the Monegasque. Hamilton, for his part, wants a much larger say in Ferrari's future direction, and honestly you can't blame him. When they signed him, Ferrari knew they were bringing in a living legend, not someone you can pacify with vague promises about potential without delivering results. That's why Hamilton is getting more proactive. He's openly said his DNA will be built into the 2026 car. This year, with this car, we have lots of different tools and ways to set it up. Charles has been here a long time and is very accustomed to it. He's found one way that works. I've tried all the other directions, but they just don't work for whatever reason. I've slowly migrated to Charles's setup, and the pace was the closest it's been. It's a tough balance to drive, and it's not comfortable. So I'm working with the factory to make sure the next car has some of my DNA, and hopefully we'll get the characteristics I'm looking for. But what if he does walk away after 2026? For Ferrari, it would be a huge blow to their reputation. Imagine signing the most successful driver of all time and losing him just 2 years later because he didn't believe in the car's potential. That would make it incredibly hard to attract other top-tier talent. Sure, young stars like Oliver Bearman might get a look in, but only if Hamilton retires or jumps into another high-risk project. For Hamilton, leaving could very well mean the end of his F1 career, not in the way he envisioned. Yes, the decision would be his, but had you told him back when he left Mercedes that retirement would even be on the table after just 2 seasons, he might never have made the move in the first place. That's why the 2026 regulations are so crucial, and why the question of whether Hamilton can outperform Leclerc is equally important. Sources close to the team claim Ferrari has already begun experimenting with Hamilton's 2026 package to make him more comfortable. One tweak involves changes to the battery pack, but here's the catch. While the revised design could bring performance gains, Its larger size and weight might cause charging struggles in certain race situations. It's a gamble, but Ferrari seems willing to make the sacrifices needed. And amidst all this hype about Hamilton, let's not forget, Ferrari's golden boy is still Charles Leclerc. He's been with the team since 2019, endured the highs and lows, and is arguably ready for a title shot. If Ferrari builds a truly competitive car, who's to say 2026 couldn't be the year Leclerc wins his first championship, ending the team's drought since 2007? That's where the tension lies. An intra-team rivalry, like what we're seeing at McLaren, could unfold at Ferrari in 2026. And if Hamilton loses pace despite the car being designed for him, that might be all it takes to trigger his exit clause. So, what do you think? Will Hamilton pull the trigger on his get-out clause if Leclerc beats him too convincingly? And could this clause be the ticking time bomb that shapes Ferrari's next chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And once you do, click the video on your screen now for more on this developing story.